Capital One just massively devalued the access to lounge access, and here are the details you need to know. We learned yesterday that Capital One was making some major changes to their lounge access that we all have through the Capital One Venture X card. Now, currently, the way that it stands is I have a Capital One Venture X card in my household. I am able to bring in free guests, up to 2 free guests, into any of the lounges that I go into. The Capital One lounges, the Priority Pass lounges, those are the things that I am able to do holding a Capital One Venture X card and getting access to their lounges and the Priority Pass lounges. And any of my authorized users on my cards are also able to do the same, but that all changes as of February 1st of 2026. And in a major way, as of February 1st of 2026, the only person that's going to have lounge access is the cardholder themselves. That's right, there's no free access anymore for anyone, but they can pay, or you can pay as the primary cardholder, a $125 fee per person who is an authorized user and still give them that lounge access. And as a primary cardholder, if I want to bring people into those lounges, I can pay a $45 fee for the Capital One Venture X lounges and for Priority Pass. But are we really going to be doing this? So no more free Priority Pass lounge access for everybody. No more free Capital One Venture X lounge access for everybody, which is a good thing. Let's talk about what's happening as of February 1st. February 1st, for those holding the Capital One Venture X, if we have authorized users and we want to give them access to those lounges, we have 2 options. A, if they're an authorized user, we can pay $125 per authorized user for them to have access to those lounges. That'll give them access to the Capital One lounges, and that will give them access to the Priority Pass lounges. But let's say I'm at a lounge and I want to bring in my player 3 who doesn't have that Capital One Venture X card, or I want to bring along a friend. I can pay $45 for those individuals, and that is for Priority Pass access. So for the Priority Pass, if you want to have access to Priority Pass moving forward after February 1st of 2026, if you are a Capital One Venture X holder, or if you are a Capital One Venture X authorized user holder and you've paid your $125 fee on that card, you still have access to those Priority Pass lounges. If you want to bring additional people in, you have to pay $35 per person. For the Capital One Venture X lounges moving forward after February 1st of 2026, you can get into those Capital One Venture X lounges if you hold the Capital One Venture X card. You no longer have the ability to bring in guests unless you've spent $75,000 on that particular card. And if you have spent $75,000 on that particular card for that year, you have access for the rest of that remaining year, just like the Southwest Companion Pass, right? You have access for the rest of the year that you spent that $75,000 in and the next year. You can also bring other people in if you spend $45 per person to get into the Capital One Venture X lounges. It's $35 for Priority Pass, $45 for the Capital One Venture X cards for those additional guests that you want to bring in. Under the age of 18, from 2 to 17, they're going to charge $25, and people under the age of 2 are going to be free. I know we are all so mad about this, but lounge access is becoming so hard to get into at this point in time. You go to any lounge anymore these last year and a half, and you have a huge wait. A year and a half ago and prior to that. Now, remember, I've only been in the game for 4 years, and I've only had lounge access for 3.5 of those years. But the first year and a half of my game, I didn't have any problem getting into any of the lounges ever. But because we all share our tips and tricks here, right? That's where we get into the problem. Everybody has lounge access now. Kudos to Capital One again for giving us 8 months warning. Now, moving forward, is this Capital One Venture X card still a keeper card? Yes, As it stands right now, the Capital One Venture card is still a keeper card. You get a $300 travel credit every single year. You also get 10,000 bonus points every year. And those two things just right there equal more than the $395 annual fee. So yes, that card is a keeper card. I had been debating getting rid of it for my husband, but we've always used the benefits, so I'm not so worried about that little couponing of $300. We literally just used it for Switzerland and London. Now, my son and my daughter are authorized users on that card. My son doesn't care about lounge access. I have it as an extra, as an authorized user, so when he goes overseas and does the things that he does for his gaming, that he has a card that has access overseas without any foreign transaction fees. For my daughter, however, I'm now considering getting her this card before February 1st of 2026. Maybe not right now, but before February 1st of 2026, that card is going to be in her wallet so she can have lounge access. Because I'm not going to give her authorized user on the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and I am not going to be picking up the American Express Platinum card anytime soon. What are your thoughts? What are you going to do moving forward? I would love to know. I'd love to know if you're going to keep the Capital One Venture X card. Like I said, I am. I'm going to keep that card as it stands in its present form otherwise. But what are you going to do? I'd love to hear. Until next time, happy travels.